All right, everybody, we are on air. Welcome to the GreyFire Podcast. I'll be your host today, Trey, a.k.a. Trey Bate, a.k.a. Trey Bate Knows Boxing, with my co-host,
Willie Mack.
Willie Mack. Guys, this show is about boxing, fitness, and sociology. So these interviews or these conversations are going to be from the people, for the people who are actually involved in the sport, the teachers, of course, like I mentioned before. We want to introduce the world to the teachers of the sport. All right, so now we're going to give you guys a little bit of a intro, introducing ourselves. If you guys want to know anything else about us, let's make this a little bit more interesting. Right, if you're watching this on YouTube, write in the comments what you guys want to know. You're listening to this on any other
outlets.
Any other outlets. There we go. Any other outlets. Make sure that you comment. Let's get involved, and let's make this a great show. All right, guys, let me give you a little bit of information about myself. Of course, like I mentioned before, my name is Trey Bate, a.k.a. Trey Bate Knows Boxing. I'm a boxing development specialist at Boxing Burn, located, of course, in Santa Monica and in Brentwood. So now, why am I doing this podcast, which is probably the biggest and the greatest question? I'm doing this podcast because, literally, if you think about the name GreyFire, I wanted to initially, or overall, what I want to do is bring out the topics that, or talk about the topics that most people are not talking about, especially as it pertains to boxing, fitness, and of course, sociology. So we're going to be talking about interesting stuff. I mean, probably the most unique topics that you could ever possibly even think of. All right, now, guys, for my co-host, I've been knowing Willie Mack for, let's say, just about 17 years. What? The ninth grade.
Ninth grade.
Ninth grade, 17 years. So the reason why I decided to choose him as a co-host is because literally he was the perfect fit for it. Not only that, he has a radio voice. So
yeah, don't try to forget it.
So I mean, no, but on a very serious note, he's definitely the most compatible, the most compatible version. The most compatible person for these topics. Not only because he's been through them, but he's quite knowledgeable as far as fitness, as far as sociology, and a little bit of boxing. Believe it or not, I mean, he's learning and growing when it comes down to that, getting more and more familiar with things, which of course, you know, which of course, you know, with practice and with dedication, you know, you can get anywhere in life. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk to Will for a little bit. He's going to explain himself and tell us why he's here.
All right. Now, like I said, I was brought here an idea of Trey Bate. He always wanted to do this podcast. He wanted to not only teach class in person, but he always want to teach people even over the airwaves. So I hopped on board once we all had it planned out, and it sounded like a great idea. And I told him this a few weeks ago that I probably wouldn't do this with nobody else because not a lot of people I'm compatible with as far as different topics, sociology, fitness, and boxing. I got into fitness. I love lifting weights. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I watch a boatload of wrestling. So I always thought I had that body of a wrestler, but I was scrawny, so I didn't. So as I got older, I let my body develop. The first thing I wanted to do was get into fitness. Again, I learned from people online, bodybuilder.com, Trey Bate, the boxing coach, and I use all those things, all those traits, and put it into my own little workout. And pretty much I became a fitness guru myself. As far as boxing is concerned, when I was younger, I didn't follow it as closely because I was too busy stuck on basketball, football, wrestling. As I got older, and like I said, I knew all the fighters. I knew every history. I just never really watched a full 1 through 12 round bout. But again, learning from Trey Bate boxing, I'm sitting there, I'm analyzing every punch thrown, every punch landed, whether it's going to be a good fight this weekend or it's going to be a bad fight the following weekend. Again, getting educated on fights before it happens makes you really want to anticipate on what's going to happen. And every single fight I've learned everything I need to know. So again, me coming on the show, he's going to give you everything he can. I'm going to give you what I watch, what I see, because I always have a knack for seeing things that most people don't see. And that's what I'm going to bring to the show. also with fitness, of course, and the sociology part. I mean, again, he said it first. We've been there before. We've done it before. We're just here going to bring it from our experiences, and hopefully it helps you guys down the line. If you're going through something, our stories might influence you into like, damn, you know what? Maybe he hit a tough spot that I didn't expect us to hit with him. So that's what we're going to bring. And again, stay tuned. It's going to be raw. Again, I've been knowing this guy since 9th grade. It's going to be a raw, creative show every time you hear us. That's why it's called the GreyFire Podcast, because there's no stones unturned, and there's no place that's not going to be on fire. We're going to light it up. Bloom.
So what we're going to be talking about is the upcoming fight this weekend between Anthony Joshua and Carlos Takam. Anthony Joshua, of course, is Nigerian, fighting out of the UK. Carlos Takam is fighting out of France, but is originally from Morocco. It's going to be a very, very interesting bout this weekend. I can clearly see Joshua winning this fight within 5 rounds. That's just my prediction on this fight. This is one of those fights where Joshua's going to have to show himself, because he's going to have to define the heavyweight weight class. And with Deontay Wilder having a part 2 fight or a second fight against Bermane Stiverne literally next week, this is going to be very, very interesting. It's going to be a very interesting 2018 as they try to make this fight happen. There's a lot of upcoming fights. There's a lot of great upcoming fights, but the two most interesting, or matter of fact, the number one most interesting fight for me this year, kind of skipping the subject slightly, is the Billy Joe Saunders fight versus David Lemieux. That's a very, very interesting fight because, once again, the middleweight weight class, or that specific weight class, is going to be defined in the year 2018. So it's going to be a very, very exciting end of this year as far as boxing is concerned, as well as all of next year is going to be extremely exciting, all with different weight classes. So that's a very, very interesting fight that's happening this weekend. We definitely look forward to it. As far as my predictions, I think Joshua will win within 5 rounds because he's going to have to show his ass in this one for sure. Let's see. Now, let's talk a little bit about fitness. Like I mentioned, I work at literally the number one boxing gym in California, which is Box and Burn. I've been working there for just about going on 4.5 months. Regarding fitness, it's literally, we have possibly some of the best boxing trainers on the planet. Of course, I'm there, so that's why it's definitely one of the best gyms. But of course, we honestly, we have a great team, great staff. Everything about that gym is absolutely amazing. Rumor has it that there will be a third one that's going to be coming up, or a third gym that will be up very, very soon. We definitely look forward to that. If you guys want, matter of fact, this is what I'm going to need you guys to do. Go check out Boxing Burn if you never heard about it, at Boxing Burn, boxingburn.com. As of right now, there's 2 different locations, Santa Monica, and there's one in Brentwood as well. Definitely go check it out. First time, I want to say first and second time, but I'll just say first time for right now. First time training is for free, or doing the classes, of course. Private training is just a little bit different, especially if you're working with a specialist like myself.
Killing them.
But as far as fitness, Will, what is your, as far as fitness is concerned, what is your number one thing to do? Or what are you most interested in when it comes down to fitness?
Man, first off, like I said, learning fitness from Trey Bate and through all the resources again out there. I love working out on my chest. I really do. I love my chest. I love my cheek cheeks. The ladies do too. Ladies, you love my cheek cheeks, say what's up. Anywho, I like to do bench presses. I love incline bench presses. Every night, again, I like doing push-ups before I go to sleep. When I wake up, I like doing about 50. Get my blood flowing, get my lungs blowing.
That's serious.
Let's see. I love cables. I always get this question: do I like free weights? Do I like cables? again, I've learned from a lot of people, cables give you good definition, the free weights give you the bulk. So pick and choose. If you want to be lean, either one. If you want to be bulk, more likely you want the free weights. But like I said, I love cables. Chest is one of my favorites. Arms is one of my favorites. Pretty much, I don't want to be too bulky because that's not me. I used to be about 200-something pounds. I didn't like that muscle because I didn't move correctly. So I'm more of a lean person, like stand at 185, 190 something. And like I said, I do more reps than I do weights. So again, you'll hear about that from both of us, as the boxing coach and the fitness man just said. But again, whatever fits your boat, roll with it. But that's what fits mine.
Is there any chance that you will hop in the ring one day?
No. I don't like getting scars on my face.
No.
I don't like getting scars on my face. But you know what? I've heard that I have the size that if I wanted to be a heavyweight, I could have been. But I'm just going to be a heavyweight on the couch watching everybody else fight. So that's your question? No, but it's a hell of a sport to watch, though. I love it.
No, absolutely. I mean, as far as fitness, I mean, for me, it's very therapeutic, extremely therapeutic. I mean, just with natural things that happen in life, I mean, rather than doing something that could make the situation worse, I mean, fitness or just working out overall is something that it just, like I said, I mean, I guess the best word to describe it, or I guess for lack of better words, is just, it's extremely therapeutic, extremely therapeutic. It's good for the inside, it's good for the outside. As far as just having a better mentality, I mean, I could say the people I know, or let's say most of, because I'm actually surrounded by a lot of trainers, but literally every trainer that I'm surrounded by, they actually work out for a specific reason. Whether it's just for fitness, whether if it's for, I've actually trained people who chose boxing as a way to, lean off of certain medications. Like, especially I had a client a couple of years ago who was able to get off of 2 of her medications, and she had ADHD. And it was due to a lot of the, mitt work that we did as far as using a lot of different numbers, it's a lot of different cues, a lot of different, for the most part, it's a lot of brain work, not just necessarily the physical work that comes behind it, but there's a lot of things that happen within the mind, especially, let's say, as far as boxing is concerned. Primarily, let's say if you're a right-hander, you're using that right side all the time, or for the most part. Now, when you're boxing, you're using the left side a lot more as well. So you think about what that's doing to your brain. I mean, other portions of your brain that weren't as active before are now active. So, I mean, you think about it, there's many benefits from it, as far as like just reflexes, as far as your posture, as far as even things that we do, like as far as getting out of bed, as far as driving. These are things that we do every single day. So as far as, just fitness overall, it impacts us in a very positive way. And it was very weird because I was listening to something on YouTube with some guy who was talking about fitness. He said something about how when you work out, he was talking about bodybuilders, which I guess I can understand that. He said bodybuilders, or if you lift heavy weights, you, I guess, decrease your lifespan by 15 years or something like that. What do you think about that?
That's something I've not heard.
I've never heard that before.
It's funny. Just piggyback off that. I heard on the Steve Harvey show in the morning that I don't know if it's true or not. They joke around a lot, but I heard that older people that lift weights most put a lot of stress in their heart. So if you're a heavy workout person in your 50s or 60s, you have to slow down. Steve Harvey says he's going to take a day off. He's not going to work out no more. He quit. but honestly, that's crazy. That's crazy. Good information to know.
What else can we say about that? I guess is to each his own, I guess.
Each his own.
All right, now let's talk about something very, very interesting. I think we talked about this before briefly, but the question is for everybody, as a matter of fact, and you guys definitely get involved in this because we need your opinion as well. For men, let's talk about men for a second. Is 30 the new 25? Is 30 the new 25 for men? What do you think? Will?
So, to paraphrase this for myself to understand, it's 30 to new 25. You know what? I tell you what. 25, let me see, I'm 31 now. I was 25 6 years ago. So would I rather be 25 now or do I like stand 31 right now? I had to say I like my life right now where it is at 31 because at 25, I didn't have the knowledge that I got now at the age of 31. Not only that, I know what to expect out of life. I know what to eat to keep my life progressing. I know how to keep myself in great shape. At that young age, I was drinking, partying, yada, yada, yada. My 25 back then was the 31.
True.
Now, today, my 31 is a 25 because I got more spring in my step. Pretty much, like I said, I keep myself maintained, knowledgeable about anything I can to keep myself going. So to answer that question, Trey Bate, I will say 30 for us men, if you're taking care of yourself, is a new 25. But there are people who are our age and look 28 years older.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, the fountain of youth is within. I think when it comes down to that, and I think it's really not necessarily the physical side. Of course, physical is very important, but it's about what you learn. I mean, like you mentioned, at the age of 25, believe it or not, at the age of 18, you thought you knew some shit. At the age of 21, you thought you knew something. Then you noticed, at 18, I didn't know anything. At 21. At 25, you thought at 21 you knew something. Then you noticed, at 21, I didn't know anything at 25. Now at 30, it's like, it's like, it's all coming together. Like for me, it's all coming together. Like it all makes sense now. Everything that I went throughout the 20s. I memean, literally, like I mentioned to you before, like the day I turned 30, it was just like a whole different mindset that came in, a whole different perspective. Like I changed. Like, I don't know what happened. Maybe something within the moon, but I literally changed and I just like started thinking just for the better overall. Just started really focusing on myself, focusing on my craft, focusing on things that I actually cared about. I mean, let's talk about women for a second. I think this is very important because women can be a great distraction for men. And I think it's pretty crazy, but the way that the world is set up, or society, because we're talking about a little bit of sociology now, of course, the way the society is set up is that a man's life, the very end. This is, you guys definitely chime in on this, or to give your opinion on this. But when it comes down to a man's life, everything that we do, the ending result or the prize or the trophy is a woman. Not saying that that's necessarily wrong, but everything. Let's say you gotta, of course, I mean, you want to be successful in life, but you gotta go to college and make this certain amount of money so you can find a woman. You gotta get a great job so you can find a woman. You gotta get this nice car so you can find a woman. So, I mean, I could give many, many more examples, but when it comes down to that, I can say to some extent, or speaking for myself, that, I mean, me naturally emphasizing that in my head, or with society teaching us that way of thinking, that became my way of thinking. But at 30, things changed where I focused more on myself. And I didn't quite worry about that because in a sense, I understood that it was more of a given. That relationship, that friendship, or just the interaction with women is a given. Think about it in a sense. It's 6-7 billion people on the planet. There's so many things, especially as far as boxing, there's so many things I want to do, so many places I'm going to go. I don't know what's going to happen, but I could say what I do know as far as even like relationships overall, or as far as women, is that it's just, I don't know, for me, it's a given. So it's like if you focus on your craft or what you love, it'll come when it's supposed to. Just,
I agree.
I don't know what else to say about that at the moment, but maybe you could, add some more to that.
Yeah, agreeing with you 100%. Like I said, I grew up in where you work hard, you go to school, you make all the right money just so you can meet the right woman.
Yes.
My priorities was that, and it still is. But right now, because the way the world is changing, the way the economy is changing, you can't really focus on trying to find the right one. What you need to do is find yourself in the right position.
Absolutely.
And then the right one will follow. It'll come all together. again, from my experience, and man, I was green when it came to learning these women, man. I probably got my lunch money taken from all y'all ladies. Ladies, y'all owe me money. And throughout the years, like I said, I was just that big provider, but, you know, I didn't have my own foundation. I wasn't thinking straight. So I'm giving and giving and giving, but I had to ask myself, what was I giving to?
True.
So as I turned, like I said, this age, again, if you're not 30 yet, hurry up. It's a hell of a learning experience. I promise you. You get to go to retrospect, reflect everything about what took place in your 20s, and that way you don't make that same mistake in your 30s. Again, I'm sure Trey got stories for you.
I could say one thing for sure that really changed was the people that I was around. I literally changed my whole environment. Naturally, it just happened the way that it happened, but even the people that I surround myself with now, it's just a totally different group of people. And one thing I've noticed is that, I mean, I'm more focused on helping the world. Like, that's just my thing, rather than just focusing on one person. I think later on in life, I may want to have kids and be married and all that stuff. I'm enjoying life. I love life now. But I think that it's more important to be to assist or to be a part of something bigger than just say having a wife and creating a family. Trust me, like, all that stuff is great, but for me, before that, I want to do something for the world. I want to do something that lives on. I want to create a legacy. That's just me. Like I said, the biggest thing about me, I've said this to everybody. I want to be, or I truly believe that I am and will be the greatest, and I mean the greatest boxing trainer in the world. That is just the way I think. Hopefully nobody's offended by that. If you are, good luck. But it's one of those things where it's just like Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan. It's like when they were young, they knew it. They didn't know how it was going to happen, but they knew that it would happen.
Indeed.
And they just worked hard. They put themselves in the right environment. For me, literally, I'm at the gym 7 days a week. 7 days a week. I'm surrounded by it. I'm like, it's
in the air for them.
It's in the air. It's always there. And I really like that because for the most part, I mean, in a sense, it gives you something to live for. And to me, that's very, very important. I guess if I was to give any advice to the men now, just take care of yourselves. That's the first thing that you have to do. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself, and you'll see everything follow. It's going to come to you. It naturally will. I can say that for a fact. Now, another thing, really quick. There's a very interesting topic. I was talking to somebody who's you ever heard of MGTOW or MGTOW? Sorry,
my first
MGTOW.
Time. My first time.
So I mean, I'm hearing about this stuff here and there because somebody told me that I was MGTOW because I just talked to them about my lifestyle and just the way that I live. But for the most part, I guess from my understanding, if you guys know more about MGTOW, definitely give me some more information. Write in the comments. Let's definitely talk about this. But it's called, I guess, MGTOW. MGTOW is men going their own way. So I guess there's some kind of movement. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's, in a sense, it kind of counters the feminist movement, but it's men choosing to go their own way for self-preservation to some extent. I guess that's the best way that I could describe it. I've heard I guess there's different versions of it. I've heard something about blue pill, red pill, which I'm quite sure that we're going to be discussing in greater detail within the coming episodes. But that's another thing that I've heard about as far as MGTOW. I mean, there's something going on. There's some movement going on to where men feel that they have to, I guess, take themselves away from, I guess, their environment or society to focus on themselves, for the greater good. If that is the case, then I'm interested to see what's going to happen in the future when it comes down to this topic or subject overall. I mean,
so don't forget that name because it's going to happen. It's going to happen now, present, and the future. Don't forget it. So as far as MGTOW, let's say as far as because we're kind of on the same topic, as far as self-preservation, what do you think about that? Is it important for a man to separate himself, not necessarily from society, but from things that are not, I guess, what's the right word, favorable
his life or to his existence overall? What would you say about that?
That's funny. That's a heck of a question that I may not even have an answer to.
Based on your experience and the things that you went through throughout the years with, for the most part, partly it is our fault for not knowing certain things. But, you live and you learn overall. But through your experiences, would you say that you've been distracted by not just only women, but just by other elements?
Big time. Like I said, between 86 and now, I could literally sit here and say I was distracted from birth. I didn't pay attention to nothing. All jokes aside, I could say I was distracted. I've always felt like this. I could have been a lot further if I'd have put things on hold because I was distracted by something that caught my attention.
True.
That's one of the hardest things to do is to get back to what you was doing because time then pretty much took off on you. So, I could say, yes, I am a victim of easily being distracted. But I'm working on that right now.
I think that's probably one of the biggest realizations that I had because, as far as, let's go back to the topic of 30s and new 25.
Yep.
When I turned 30, I think that was the biggest realization I've had or the biggest moment that I had to where I had to check myself. I literally asked myself, or I had to literally tell myself, damn, you wasted a lot of, even though, I am. I was still focused, but I could have done more. I've always could have done more. But at the same time, I appreciate everything that's happened because I truly believe in timing. Things happen at a certain time for a certain reason. Mm-hmm. And in the end, let's say going back to, working at Box and Burn, that whole situation when we being hired with Box and Burn is literally, it's proof that it's all about timing. It's all about timing with everything that happened the year before, which of course I'll be discussing in further detail what happened the year before, even months before that, even me meeting Tony Jeffries or even talking to him for the first time. We're definitely gonna have him on the show, so he'll be able to tell that story with me as well. The way that everything played out, it's in a sense it's destiny, and I definitely respect that. As far as the universe is concerned, these are these things happen for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And timing, just like in boxing, that's why I always say boxing is extremely relative to life. Everything about it, as far as the timing, as far as speed, as far as patience, as far as even form, accuracy. So many different aspects of boxing pertains to everyday life, literally everyday life. And that's one of the things I love about it is that it's never ending. You can't solve it. It's a problem that keeps going and going and going. And for me, that, in a sense, is kind of a chase. I'd rather chase that than chase things that don't really, I guess, in a sense, apply to my life in the right way. I could definitely say that. Sorry. But, so, guys, we have talked about boxing. Mm-hmm. We talked about a little bit of fitness. Mm-hmm. Of course, initially we talked a little bit about ourselves, and we want you guys to get involved. The way that we had it set up initially was we want you guys to ask the questions, and we want to be able to answer it and create a conversation from that, just to make things extremely interesting. And best believe we are going to ask you guys questions too. So it's going to be very, very fun, extremely fun. One thing that we want to do as well, just to, let you guys let some energy out. Feel free when you guys watch us on YouTube to I guess roast us. Let's play around with that. Whoever can roast us the best or gives the best comment related to, of course, roasting us, we'll figure something out. By the next episode we'll have it all set up for you. But let's get involved, guys. Let's make some stuff happen here. So, guys, this is the first episode of GreyFire Podcast with your hosts, Trey Bate and Willie Will, of course.
Willie Mack.
William Maine, don't you? William Maine. So, guys, it was a pleasure. It's definitely a pleasure. We will be back very soon. Like I said, we look forward to the future when it comes down to the show. We will be giving you exclusive interviews with fighters, exclusive interviews with trainers, with some of the most interesting people on the planet. And believe it or not, they all live in California, which is super cool. So, guys, we will see you soon, or we'll hear from you soon. Have a great day, night, evening, whatever.
Wherever you are. China, have a good afternoon.
Cheers.